Hi everyone, this is Julie from Urban Yogis, and I'm here today with part 2 of cross-training your yoga practice. Today I'll be taking you through the lat pull-down exercise, which is really great for strengthening the muscles of your back, and in particular the larger latissimus dorsi, as well as learning how to integrate those back body muscles to support the requirements of your upper body in your yoga practice. Now, the lat pull down is a very common exercise in the gym, but I find that it is underemphasized in our yoga practice. So today I'll be taking you through variations of the lat pull downs, which is most commonly practiced by doing pull-ups. So I understand that pull-ups are not necessarily accessible to everyone, either in terms of their level of intensity or simply access to a pull-up bar. So today I'll give you 3 different exercises that you can do either at the gym or at home. And then at the end, like we did in part 1, connect it back to common postures and movements that we see in our yoga practice. So let's have a look. If you have access to free weights, here's a simple exercise that you can do to work those larger back muscles using a pair of dumbbells. Now, I'm working once again with my 5-kilo dumbbells. Remember that you want to be exerting a reasonable amount of effort against the weight of your dumbbell. All right, so raise the dumbbells over the head, keeping the arms reasonably wide. So wider arms in this way gives you access to the lats. And then we are working on the movement down, right? So extend one arm and then slowly draw the opposite arm down as you lower that weight until it's just above the shoulders, squeeze at the bottom, and then extend again. Lower the opposite arm, bend it, squeeze at the bottom, and then extend. Let's do one more on each side. Lower, squeeze, extend, and once again, lower and extend. As always, if you don't have access to free weights at the gym, you can always do these exercises with a resistance band, just like this one here. So very similar to what we did before with the free weights, you'll extend the arms above the head, and again, keeping it reasonably wide and using a resistance band that allows you to once again exert a reasonable amount of effort against the resistance of the band. So as we did before, keep one arm up and then slowly bend the opposite arm as you bring it down, squeezing, and then slowly extend back up. One more time on the opposite side, keep the opposite arm extended up, pulling down, squeezing at the bottom, and then slowly extend up. One more time on each side, bend, using those lats to pull down, squeeze, and then slowly come back up. And then one more on the other side, squeeze, and then come back up. Now here's my all-time favorite exercise that simulates what the lats do in a traditional pull-up. All you need is a towel and the floor, and you really feel the work in the lats in this one. So you'll start by lying down on your belly. You'll take the towel into your hands, and again, you want the towel, or the hands rather, to be reasonably wide to give you access to the lats. And you're pulling the towel apart with your hands, right? And then you'll start with the forehead on the floor, and the action is just to pull the towel back and squeeze at the bottom while you're pulling the towel apart. So let's do 3 of these. Inhale, and then exhale, pull the towel apart, draw it down towards your chest, squeeze at the bottom. And then again, inhale to extend, As you exhale, repeat. Squeeze at the bottom, and then one more. And draw the towel towards your chest, pull it apart with the hands, and then squeeze the shoulder blades at the bottom. Let's tie this back to our yoga practice. And the easiest place to see this is in the cobra or the upward dogs. So once again, come down onto your belly. Make sure the legs are involved in this. So you want the toes to be reaching back, tops of the feet press into the mat, and then on your inhalation, use those muscles of your back to lift you up, and the hands are doing something very similar to that towel exercise that we just did a moment ago. And this is the part that's often forgotten when we practice yoga. So with the hands, you want to pull and traction back, almost like you're trying to pull the mat back towards your feet. And you will notice immediately the activation that happens in the back of your body, right? You want to be cautious not to use the arms primarily to back bend in this way. In fact, let the arms do a little bit less. Just get them to do that pulling action, and then most of the work will be taken by the back and middle muscles supporting this posture even more. And of course, the same thing is going on in our downward facing dog. So let's get into our downward dog. And when you are in your downward facing dog, try to imagine that you're pulling that towel towards your chest or drawing that dumbbell weight down towards your shoulder or using the resistance band. So what you will find is there is an integration of the muscles in the center of the ribs as well as larger muscles of your middle back. And I like to say that this is what enables us to keep the weight of our downward dog out of the hands. Yes, the legs are doing part of that work, but the integration of the back body muscles is sort of directing the weight away from the hands and the floor. And that translates into what happens in our inversions as well, so that we're using the muscles of the back and drawing the weight away from the floor. So essentially, you don't need a massive amount of arm strength. You just need to learn how to use the muscles of your back in an efficient way. Now, this has some rather large implications for the most basic of yoga movements, and that is the movement of the arms over the head. Now, traditional lineages tend to prescribe taking the arms from the sides and then bringing them directly above the crown of the head. Now, remember, we've explored some of these lat exercises and understood that in order to access the lats better, we've got to take the arms a little bit wider. So if you were moving in a way that really brings more efficiency to how movement works together, or rather how muscles in your body work together to create movement, in this way, you might consider, give you a side view here, instead of taking the arms out to the side, taking them slightly forwards, and then when you end at the top, you end wide. So already for me, I can feel the work of my middle back muscles. I can feel those lats working in the back of my body here. And this translates into how you might position your hands in your downward dog, how you'll position your arms and your hands in your standing warrior postures, and even into how you might efficiently make your way into a handstand. So have a go, try those different variations out, and I'll see you again in part 3 of cross-training your yoga practice.